What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other day I saw a post on Reddit that I thought would personally spark a really fun discussion down in the comment section here. So, of course, once you go ahead and see it, leave your opinions down below. I'd love to read them all. But this post says, if you guys could bring back anything from past Call of Duties to Modern Warfare 3, what would it be? Now, of course, I know the obvious answers, right? The removal of skill-based matchmaking, so on and so forth. I can already tell you the obvious ones, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into actual, gameplay things from previous games that were just phenomenal, but stripped from the experience for no reason. And I have a couple that I want to go ahead and line up for you guys. But of course, like I said, go down in the comment section as well and leave at least a couple of things, maybe even a few things that you think would be amazing if they reintroduced into current day Call of Duty. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in any live streams, I do that over on Kick pretty much daily besides Sundays. And by all means, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. And that stream usually goes live around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for me personally, there are a couple of things from past Call of Duty games that I would love to see implemented back into the overall experience. Of course, like I said earlier, I understand the skill-based matchmaking talk. I always have to say this because if I don't mention it at least 50 times in a video, people will automatically assume that, since I didn't discuss it, that means I totally support it. No. I'm just trying to think of other things that, would make Call of Duty a bit more interesting. Now, I'm going to save my favorite one for last, but I want to start off this video with clan wars. I mentioned this a couple of times in the past, but I don't understand why they took this, feature out of Call of Duty. What was it, like Call of Duty Elite or something like that? The app that they had on the side that allowed you to make clans and, join friends and actually grind out challenges. I believe in Modern Warfare 3, you were grinding out challenges to get different colored, clan tags. I believe you can grind for calling cards and emblems and stuff of that sorts. It's such a missed opportunity, in my personal opinion, especially with how, we're so live service dependent right now. That would be an amazing extra, bit of content right there. Am I right or am I wrong? Right now they have a pretty decent system in Modern Warfare 3 where there's constant events going on where you're getting camos, you're getting different skins, operators, so on and so forth all throughout the season. And again, it could be better, but compared to Modern Warfare 2019 up to current date, Modern Warfare 3 has the best live service system. I've been saying it since day one and I'm going to keep saying it. It's just simply true in my personal opinion. But if they had a Call of Duty Elite system that allowed you to grind out with a clan and grind out with your friends to get even more different skins and even more things, that would be absolutely insane. And I feel like there's so much missed potential within that. And they're always talking about how you should be playing with friends and team and play with your squad, team up with your squad, But there's not much of a clan system in place in any of these COD games, I think we had like a little system in Modern Warfare 2 2022 where you can make a little bit of a clan, but it's nothing crazy. Like I said, they don't really put a huge emphasis on actually having a clan in Call of Duty anymore. And I feel like that really is missed potential right there. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the main thing I want to see return to Call of Duty. And I'm curious to see if you guys are going to agree with the statement or disagree with the statement. But that is the arcadey feel of a Call of Duty game. Now, don't get me wrong, out of all these past games, we have had some arcadey titles. Black Ops Cold War felt pretty arcadey. Modern Warfare 3 2023 that you see right here feels pretty arcadey, honestly, especially compared to the previous games. And they fixed a lot wrong with Modern Warfare 2 2022 when it came to, certain things with the gunplay and movement as well. But it's still not as arcadey as it was back in the day. I feel like COD is at a point where they're taking themselves a little too serious. You get what I'm saying here? Like, for example, the perks. Back in the day, they didn't care about realism within a Call of Duty game. Yeah, there were some realistic aspects, but when it came to the gunplay and the gameplay flow, they didn't give a crap. Sleight of hand, for example. You could reload an LMG at the speed of light, switch out mags and all of your weapons in a blink of an eye, Far from realistic the majority of the time. I mean, I know some people who are pretty quick with reloading. Not me personally, but I've seen it. But at the end of the day, your typical soldier isn't going to be flying through them like that with sleight of hand, But they didn't care because it's a video game, You know, they knew how to take themselves serious, but not so serious at the same time. Compelling stories, being able to give some, realistic vibes so we can relate and be horrified by certain events, but at the same time, not taking it too serious where it takes you out of the idea that it's a freaking video game at the end of the day, right? And sleight of hand's a good example. Stalker, for example. Yeah, let me tell you, I'm going to have a beefy LMG completely decked out, and I'm going to be flying while ADSing in real life. Let me tell you, man, how realistic that's going to be. But they didn't care because it's not supposed to be realistic. It's an arcade shooter, right? So they didn't care how fast you were going. It's a perk to add variety to the game to mix up the gameplay. Fast forward to current date, we just don't get that anymore, to be honest with you guys. Quick Fix has probably been the most, insane perk that we've gotten in a hot minute that adds, a nice variety to gameplay and something that's, not seriously realistic, killing someone and then getting your health back. Let me tell you how realistic that is, right? That's probably the most creative thing. But everything else, sleight of hand in this game is horrifying. There's no set speed across the board. Some guns are different than others. What's the point? It should be cracked out on all weapons across the board. That's the purpose of the perk. Stalker in this game is useless. Some weapons, it's decent on some things. But again, you don't want it decent on some things. It's either good or it's bad. I don't want to have to debate and pick and choose what weapon. No. Just give me the benefits of the perk, right? Even down to the gunplay of Call of Duty games nowadays. I'll say Modern Warfare 3 is way snappier and a lot more responsive, and they took out a lot of the things that were tedious with Modern Warfare 2 2022, such as ADS speeds, strafe speeds, so on and so forth. They reduced those problems, and also the attachments don't really affect your ADS speeds as much as they did before. So they fixed it up, don't get me wrong. But it's still not the same as that just, snap and point and shoot shooter from back in the day, Call of Duty, where the only thing interfering with your gunfights was maybe a little bit of, scope sway when you're ADS'd. But that's around about it. Nowadays, they want everything to be so realistic, how you handle the weapons down to the muzzle flash and everything's blinding you, dirt's kicking up in your face and all of this stuff. On top of that, there's reticle sway, like actual reticle sway, where you move and strafe is where the red dot moves on your, your screen there. And the fact that we even had to have multiple patches and multiple buffs to the cursor placement as well, which Sledgehammer has touched upon, and 2 updates now to improve to make it more snappier and responsive, just tells me how far Infinity Ward was trying to pull the core Call of Duty feeling away. Sledgehammer Games had to go through all this work and plus some even after the launch of the game to get it back to a more playable state, and we're still not completely there yet, which is extraordinarily sad because back in the day, this wasn't a problem. We weren't debating and talking about stuff like this. Call of Duty was an arcadey, snappy shooter. It just simply was. Even the most realistic of games, like Infinity Ward, has always had more realistic vibes than Treyarch in every way possible. 1010%. Treyarch has always made faster-paced Call of Duty games, and Infinity Ward always been, I don't want to say a little bit more strategic, but, they had a tad bit more realism within their titles. Not completely, because obviously it was Call of Duty and it was a video game at the end of the day, but that's the point that I'm trying to make here. They didn't take it as serious, where now they take it to the whole next level. They don't want any bit of arcadey feel within their games, and it's leaking throughout the franchise. And that's one thing that I would love to see return into Call of Duty again. The simplicity of the game, I get this company makes so much money and they bank in so much cash, but all that money into the game, making it extra realistic, is just killing the gameplay mechanics themselves, in my personal opinion. Certain things I don't mind, but the mass majority of them are just complete interference with what the game is all about. X-Defiant, for example, there's barely any clutter at all when it comes to your weapons. It is very simplistic, yet it is extraordinarily addicting, right? Am I right or am I wrong? A lot of people enjoyed X-Defiant. A lot of people had a blast playing that game, and it's simply because it's what it is. It's an arcadey type shooter, a snappy shooter, and they don't have any other elements to pull you out of that mindset. It's really strange because back in the day, you would look at COD, and it was enjoyable because visually it looked realistic, and that was visually pleasing to a lot of players, having that realistic looking vibe, almost like it could actually be real life war. But it was mixed with arcade gameplay. It was the best of both worlds. You had fun gameplay mixed with, realistic vibes. Now it's like realistic gameplay mixed with arcade visuals, with all the crazy skins and all this crazy stuff coming out nowadays. It's almost like it's just completely flipped around, yet all the elements of the game are the complete opposite. They're less arcadey. And again, I enjoy Modern Warfare 3, and I think this is definitely the best one out of the past 5, minus, skill-based matchmaking problems and all that stuff. But, I can't deny the fact that I've been complaining about it forever now, and I'm still waiting for them to adjust the perks. Like, I don't understand the problem with buffing Sleight of Hand and Stalker to make it more, useful and beneficial. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, go down in the comment section and leave your opinions on how you feel about this topic here. What is something or a few things that you think should be reintroduced from Call of Duty? I know I keep saying, forget about the skill-based matchmaking talk, but I know my comment section is going to be filled with it. So, I can't deny it, but I'm hoping that I can still see a bunch of people who have very, genuine things that they would like to see reintroduced from previous games into current day COD that would actually enhance and make the experience better. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And last but not least, if you are interested in any of my live streams, I do that over on Kick. You can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video, and that stream goes live around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.